Today, the Cornwall Channel is in Gweek to check out the work done here at the Seal Sanctuary. Let's have a look inside.
I'm Jenny, I'm an animal care assistant here at the Cornish Seal Sanctuary, and you've just seen everybody have their breakfast. We've just started at the convalescence pool and fed everybody. We fed our grey seals at the convalescence pool, then we fed our fur seals, our male grey seals, and then our sea lions. And then hopefully this afternoon we'll move on and feed our penguins as well, and our otters and everybody, so everybody can have their breakfast and their lunch.
I didn't know there's penguins here.
Yeah, there's penguins as well.
That's a bonus for me. I love a penguin, I do. You had a little story about, was it Log? One of the
Yule Logs,
yeah.
Yule Logs. He was rescued by a centre in the north of England. It's called Yule Logs, so obviously he was rescued around Christmas time. And he was rescued by them, and they decided to keep him. Not really sure why. Maybe it's because he's such a handsome boy. But they decided to keep him on. He became a bit aggressive when he got to about 5 or 6 years old, which is about right for a male grey seal. So they decided to release him into the wild. But unfortunately, Logs didn't know how to feed himself back out in the wild. So a few months after he was released, he was caught actually chasing kids up and down the beach after their buckets and spades, because obviously he assumed that fish came from buckets, so he was trying to feed himself. He's quite a clever boy, really. But yeah, so that's quite an amusing story. So now he's obviously here at the Cornish Seal Sanctuary, safe in the knowledge that his dinner does come from plastic buckets.
And he's your favourite?
He is my favourite.
Does he get a bit extra, does he?
He does get a bit extra, yes. There's some serious favouritism going on with Logs, yeah. He actually gets the penguin's fish at the end of the day, so finish it off, so he gets some of that.
Fantastic.
So ever since the 70s, the Cornish Seal Sanctuary has been rescuing, rehabilitating and releasing grey seals back out into the wild every year. We rescue around 25 to 55 seal pups every year, rehabilitate them, get them back out in the sea where they belong. And we also have a little home here for all of our residents as well. Not only grey seals, but we have fur seals and sea lions. We also have some paddock animals as well as otters and penguins. So we do have a lot of resident animals that we provide a little haven for as well.
They agree. So the boys are darker?
Boys are darker, yeah.
Boys are darker than the girls?
That's a really good way to tell them, just from looking.
Yeah. Who's this then?
This is Andre. This
Yeah.
is our noisiest resident at the sanctuary.
Yeah.
He lives with 2 South American sea lions that are a lot bigger than he is, so he can't be the boss.
Right.
So he's just the noisiest instead.
Right. It's just the convalescence.
This is the sea lion pool.
Right, okay.
So this is where our 3 resident sea lions live.
Right.
Andre is one of the favourite residents of everybody that comes to visit.
Right.
I think his story is quite fun because he's quite a disruptive sea lion.
Right.
So he was kicked out of Chessington Zoo, got an ASBO.
Was he?
Zoo, yeah. And sent here to have a bit more one-on-one training.
Right.
So he's quite a character, really. And because he is so noisy in the summer.
Come to see me. Hello, mate.
In the summer, he literally barks all day.
Right. Does he? Barks? Yeah, of course. Yeah.
And because of the shape of his head, their voice can carry for miles and miles and miles.
Yeah.
I live in Gweek, I live about 5 minutes that way, and I can hear him from my house. Yeah. Here at the Cornish Seal Sanctuary, we obviously rehabilitate the little grey seals, but we do have our residents as well. Now, they've either been rescued by us as part of our rehabilitation work, and they've been unable to be released back out into the wild, so we've kept them on and given them a permanent home. Or they've come from other zoos and collections around the UK and have come here to be retired. So we do have everybody else's grey seals, so we're the only really collection in the UK of grey seals. So if you want to come and see some grey seals, come to the Cornish Seal Sanctuary. But not only that, but Cornwall is the best place to see its grey seals in the wild as well. We have 50% of the grey seal population in the world in Cornwall. And over in Gadreevy, there's a place called Mutton Cove, and that's the largest collection of where they haul out all together, and you can see seal pups there breeding. I think at the moment we've got about 14 little seal pups with us. They're doing really well. The popping season usually starts around September. I think we had our first pop in on the 25th of September, which is about right really.
Yep.
And then we get them through the breeding season for the grey seals is September to December, but the pups come into the most difficulty within the first 6 months of their life. Right. So our popping season here at the sanctuary goes right the way through to March. And we rescue them usually at the beginning of the season. We'll get those little cute white fluffy coated pups that have been abandoned by their mum or have lost their mum, and then as the season gets older we get those older pups that are usually malnourished and dehydrated, but a lot of them have injuries as well. A few of the cases that stick in my mind that we've got this year, we've got Cher. Now our theme this year is musicians, so they've got quite an eclectic mix of names. So we've got Cher. Now she came in, she's actually very poorly. We think she might have been hit by a boat propeller. So she had really deep wounds all over her belly and all over her flippers. She was very dehydrated and she was really poorly, so she was on a drip for the first 12 hours that she was here. But now she's feeling a lot better, and she's actually one of the feistiest pups that we've got in the convalescence pool. She's always causing trouble in there. Paloma, she was our first seal pup that was rescued. She was a very cute white coat, very small. She'd been abandoned by her mum. I think she was only 3 days old. And again, she was slightly different. She was doing quite well, but she just needed milk because obviously her mum wasn't there to give it to her. And she's in the convalescence pool as well. She likes the sound of her own voice. So if you hear any of the pups singing, it's definitely Paloma making all the noise. Yeah, lovely. And she's lovely and fat now. One of their closest living relatives is the dog. Right. Biologically, internally, they're very similar to a dog. So a lot of the medication, or all of the medication that we give them, is canine medication. Right. Just lots more of it. I'm sure you can imagine if you've got a 250 kilo seal, yeah. You do have to give him a lot of tablets. But everything that we use for them is all canine medication. Their dentition, so their teeth, are exactly the same as a dog. Right. And yeah, and internally their organs are very similar to that of a dog as well. So they do. There is a reason why they're called pups. They're very similar. We're at the sea lion pool, and in here we've got our 3 resident sea lions. We've got 2 Patagonian or South American sea lions. We've got Diego and Narito, and then we've got 1 North American or Californian sea lion called Onjo, and they're going to come out and we're going to go and do some training with them. Go in there and do some hands-on training.
Fantastic.
Okay.
See it. So if you find a baby seal on the beach, what should you do?
Well, if it's a white coat, so a little fluffy white, very cute seal, obviously don't approach it is the first thing to do. A lot of pups are abandoned by their mum because of public disturbance. If you go and touch that seal, interfere with that seal, mum's going to smell that it smells different and then abandon it, and obviously that's the last thing that we want. We want them to stay with mum. If mum isn't there, obviously, and you notice that the pup is there, have a look at it and see if it's got any injuries, but obviously stay quite far away. If it's got any injuries or you're worried about it, give us a call, we'll go out and have a look. Obviously, if it just looks quite small, maybe a little bit distressed, mum can go off out to sea to feed for up to 3 hours. So it might be that mum's just been out for a little while. So hang around, see if you can see mum. Mum will probably, if she's a good mum, be swimming around in the sea, keeping an eye on proceedings. If you have a look and mum still doesn't come back, give us a call and we'll go out and have a look. If it's an older pup that hasn't got a white coat, it's a normal grey coated pup, again have a look, has it got any injuries? They should be nice and fat, they should have nice wet eyes, they should have nice normal breathing. If they look skinny, if they look distressed, if they've got ruckily breathing or quite fast breathing, if you're worried about them at all, again don't approach them. But give us a call and we'll go and check them out and see if they need to come into the sanctuary. If you do notice anybody approaching any pups or anything like that, try and keep them away. So like I said, public disturbance is one of the main reasons that we get them here at the sanctuary as well. Bracken, the little chap in the middle, was abandoned in Lidl's car park.
Liddell's car park?
Yeah, so he came here to live with us.
Yeah.
And then Tuppence was one of those ponies that they collect up off the moors. She's an Exmoor pony, collect up off the moor and try to ship them to France. So she was rescued from being a meat pony, I think. So and then she's come to live here with us as well. They have the life of Riley, those ponies. They really do.
Fantastic, yeah. So where have the penguins come from? Don't say Antarctica.
Everybody, apart from this young lady that's in the water, are from Weymouth.
Right,
They've all come from Weymouth. Most of them are related as well. Their boys are all brothers.
Yeah.
And then Yoni, who's our newest resident, who's the girl that was in the water. Hopefully she's going to come back round. She's got the blue band.
Right.
She came from Belgium. She only arrived a week ago.
Okay.
We actually went to collect her from Weymouth. The man from Belgium brought her over and took her to Weymouth. Then we picked her up from Weymouth and brought her over here.
Right.
I'm sure you can imagine it's quite popular to want to come and be a volunteer here, which is brilliant because we do rely very heavily on our volunteers. I'm sure you can imagine this time of year as well. With all the seal pups, we've still got to look after all the residents as well, all the paddock animals and the otters and all the seals. So yeah, we do rely very heavily on our volunteers. So anyone that wants to volunteer is welcome to get in touch. We'd be really grateful of anyone that wants to come and help in any way.
Fantastic. I'll put the number on the bottom of the screen there.
Yeah, and the website as well.
And the website as well. That's just coming up now. Are you open all year round?
Every day except Christmas Day.
Okay.
Unless there's some horrendous weather and it's not safe to be on site, so it is quite hilly.
Right.
No, every day except Christmas Day.